Okay, good morning again. So for those students who have their art appreciation course, so for today, our topic that we are going to discuss is about the basic art criticism. So ano ba kapag sinabing art criticism? So, when we observe art, our minds go through a process. So, this process naturally translates into the steps of art criticism. So, following these steps will help us evaluate art effectively. So, di ba sometimes class, kapag nakakakita tayo ng painting, agad-agad ay yung ating mind, nag-iisip agad. So, natanong natin agad, so who is the artist? Bakit naging ganito yung itsura ng painting or ng isang certain artwork pieces, or bakit kaya for example sinulat to ng artist na gumawa ng kantang to, or how about our poem and literary pieces. So bakit kaya, ano yung naging kumbaga parang naging basehan kung bakit sinulat to ng artist, kung bakit niya to ginawa. So that is actually class an art criticism. So it is important for us to be able to evaluate art effectively. So we do have 4 steps in art criticism, and that is your description, your analysis, your interpretation, and your judgment. Ano ba kapag sinabi natin class na description? So the first step on art criticism is your description. So when we look at a work of art, our minds naturally take notice of the general information that is present on a certain art. So see for example, if we take the Mona Lisa, we notice, hey, this is a painting of a woman. Or say for example, agad tanong natin bakit walang kilay si Mona Lisa on the painting, or why does Mona Lisa doesn't smile on the painting. So that is a simple a giving description of the artwork. So next is analysis. So analysis refers on what? So seeing the elements and the principles of art. So here we notice what? The lines, the values, and the colors of the artwork. Aside from that, we also notice the balance, the proportion, the rhythm, and the unity that we can found on the artwork. So in a critic, students should what? Point out what is happening with these specific elements and principles of art. So yun yung sinasabi nating analyzation part of your artwork. Next, mayroon naman tayong tinatawag na interpretation. So when we do the interpretation of art, we are what? We are giving meaning on that certain pieces of art. So, di ba sabi natin, giving meaning of everything is a natural what? A natural mindset of the people or of the human. So, in this step, so we what? We explore the meaning of the artwork. So, di ba iniisip natin, what is the artist is trying to tell us about the painting, or what is the artist is trying to communicate with us. So in interpreting a certain artwork class, lagi niyong tatandaan that there is no wrong responses, or there is no wrong point of view or opinion kung ano talaga yung gustong ipadating sa atin ng isang art. Kasi, sabi ko nga lagi sa inyo, di ba? It depends on our perspective. It depends on our opinion. And lastly is the judgment. So, in this step of art criticism, ano namang ginagawa natin? So, di ba tinatanong natin dito sa judgment if, say for example, is the artwork successful? So, is it important to our society, or is it related to the scenarios that is happening on our society, or on the issues that our society are experiencing too? So, yun yung tinatawag natin na judgment part. So, how it was related to our life, or how does it influence our society. So, being able to critique art by utilizing art elements, principles of design, and correct terminology is very important for you guys. For you to easily understand the different artworks that we are going to analyze. So, there are valuable questions that can be used to critique any piece of art. So, dun muna tayo sa describing, or description of art. So, kapag sinabing describing, it's about the visual facts. So, it tell what you see on a certain piece of artwork. So, here are the several questions that you could use in examining what you have seen on a certain artwork. So, number 1, ang una nating tanong, what is the name of the artist who created the artwork? Secondly, what kind of an artwork is it? Diba? Iniisip natin, abstract ba to? Ginawa ba to during the Romantic period? So, visual arts ba ito? So, what is the name of the artwork? O, anong pangalan ng artwork? Say, for example, the Mona Lisa, or say, for example, the painting of Juan Luna, the Espalario. So, di ba? Kasi sometimes yung mga pangalan ng ating artwork pieces and literary pieces, it has something to do with the content of that certain artwork pieces. Next. So, when was the artwork created? So, di ba, yun ang una nating inaalam. Kinreate ba to during the Spanish era? During the Romantic period? During the Renaissance period ba? 'Di ba? Kasi sometimes may relationship din kung kailan kinreate ang isang artwork pieces dun sa kung bakit ganun ang naging itsura ng artwork pieces na yon. So name some other major events in the history that occurred at the same time this artwork was created, 'di ba? So sometimes merong mga artworks na ginawa ang mga artists or mga sculpture na it is related on the history that is happening on our society. So next, part din ng description is telling or listing the literal objects in the painting. So what can you see on the painting? Is there a trees? May mga tao ba sa painting, or is there an animal, a mountain, or even a rivers, and etc. on the paintings? 7. What do you notice first when you look at the works, and why? Next, what kind of colors do you see? How would you describe them? Oh, diba? Next, what shapes can we see? What kind of edges do the shapes have, and do the shapes have? Next, are there lines in the work? If so, what kind of lines are they? So what sort of textures do you see? How would you describe them? So what time of day or night is it? How can we tell? What is the overall visual effect of the mood of the art? So those are the questions that we can use in critical art kung nandun pa lang tayo sa number 1 phase natin of analyzing art. So that is the description. So we simply perceive on what we see on the artwork, literally. Next is analyzing. So in analyzing, sabi ko nga kanina, we are what? Noticing the artwork textures, the shapes, the forms, the colors, the lines, and even its sensory qualities. Ano-ano naman yung mga tanong natin whenever we are at the analyzing phase? So, number 1, how has the artist used color in the work? Diba? Malinaw ba siya? Ang ginamit ba niya ng mga kulay ay dark or light? So, what sort of effect do the colors have on the artwork? Next, how has the artist used shapes within the work of art? So next, how have lines been used in the work? What role does texture play in the work? Next, how has the artist used light in the work? Is there the illusion of a scene with lights and shadows, or does the artist use light and dark values in a more abstracted way? 7. How has the overall visual effect or mood of the work been achieved by the use of elements of art and principles of design? 8. How was the artist's design tool used to achieve a particular look or focus? Next, so, 'di ba? 'Yun yung mga tanong na dapat nating iniisip whenever we are at the analyzing phase of a certain artwork. Next is interpretation. So your interpretation, it will explain the meaning of the work based on what has learned and what the artist is trying to say. So dalawa ito. It's the point of view of the artist, and it's the point of view of the viewer. So during the interpretation process, dito mo titingnan kung ano yung masasabi mo on the painting, and ano yung gustong iparating sa'yo ng artist on the painting, or what was the artist wanted to communicate to you about the painting. So ano yung mga possible question natin? What was the artist's statement in this work? Diba? What do you like? What do you think it means? Diba? What does it mean to you? How does this relate to you and your life? What feelings do you have when looking at this artwork? So tatanungin ka, what is your attitude? What is your feelings? Anong masasabi mo dun sa artwork na yon? Next, do you think there are things in the artwork that represent other things, symbols, 'di ba? So ngayon dito sa interpretation, mas parang imaginative na tayo, mas pinapalawak natin kung ano ba yung pagtingin natin sa isang artwork. Inire-relate na natin yung mga nakikita natin sa mga symbolisms or dun sa mga possible meanings na makikreate natin from that artwork. So why do you think that the artist chose the work in this manner and made this kinds of artistic decision? 8. Why did the artist create this artwork? Okay, you see class, most of the questions are they are basically about the feelings, the meanings of the artist that have given on his artwork, and of course the meanings and the feelings that you have what created on that certain piece of artwork when you see one. Next, so judgment. So this is the last phase of critiquing an art. So in judgment, so we do our what? Our personal evaluation based on the understanding of the works. So, ano yung mga tanong natin dito? So, why do you think that the work has intrinsic value or worth? Or what is the value do you find in the work? Diba sabi nga natin, on the judgment phase, we are looking if the artwork becomes successful. So, kaya mga tanong natin, what is the value or the worth of this artwork? So, does the work have benefit to others? Will it benefit, for example, the society, the people itself na makakakita nito? So, do you find that the work communicates an idea, feeling, or principle that would have value for others? Next, what kind of effect do you think the work could have for others? O ano yung magiging epekto kaya sa iba ng artworks na to whenever nakita mo na siya? Or does the work lack value or worth? Why do you think so? This is so. Next, rather than seeing the work as being very effective or without total value, does the work fall somewhere in between? Do you think the work is just okay? What do you base this opinion on? The use of elements of words, lack of personal expression, the work lacks a major focus. So, those are the questions na itatanong natin whenever we are in the judgment phase of our critiquing of our art. So, again, we do have 4 P's or 4 step-by-step procedure in order to evaluate or to criticize art. Number 1, we look at the description of it. Secondly, we look on analyzing it. Next, the interpretation piece, and lastly, the judgment piece. So that you should be able to understand that, student, so that you will be able to what? To analyze and understand better what is an art, and what is the value or how worth it those art pieces are on you guys, on the society, and of course on the other people. So again, thank you very much for listening for this video tutorials.